Oh, and welcome to the inside of my sewing room. We streamed from the outdoors a little while ago. We went live from the outside a couple times today, once on YouTube and once on Facebook. So now we're inside and we can sew because there was way too much snow to sew outside. That's a mouthful, if you ask me. So welcome. I'm Leah. We're at my sewing room on a very, very, very snowy day here in Calgary. If you scroll back through both our YouTube and our Facebook, you'll see it live from a little bit earlier today, from the mountain of snow in the parking lot. So go check that out if you want to giggle. I know I giggled when I got waist deep in the snow in the pile that I was hoping to climb. So it was a lot more snow than I thought. So anyway, last week we started a quick little project and we're just doing quick little bite-sized chunks of it. But we're nearly done and we're making me a new lunch bag. That's really what we're up to. But we're using the June Tailor Insulated Lunchbox sewing kit. So Insulated Lunchbox has the insulated batting. That's the word for it. It's got insulated batting in the package already that's pre-marked. So we sewed a panel together all the way on Friday, and through the magic of television, we have another panel ready to go. So, two panels the same. I am using our new laminated cotton fabric from Splash Fabrics. And am I frozen? I don't know that I'm frozen. Might just be your system. So new laminated cotton from Splash Fabrics that is super wipeable, super washable, perfect for a lunch bag, raincoat, umbrella. I don't know how to make an umbrella. That's a future me kind of thing to figure out. But apron. I think I might also make a basket for my bike because I like to ride in all sorts of weather. And if I was to be on my bike today, I wouldn't get anywhere. There's too much snow. But having some waterproof and water resistant layers would be super helpful. So Splash Fabrics it is scrumptious. I'm loving it. It's so soft. It's fabulous to work with. So we're going to carry on with the next couple steps of making this lunch bag. And we'll get all the things out of the way that I don't need, including that fabulous keyboard. And then we'll flip the cameras around and show you where our project is going from here. So I've got two panels the same, one for each side, and they each have a lining and an outer, and the outer has the handle on it. Well, the handle's attached through all the layers. I didn't quilt this at all because I didn't want to put more holes in my laminated fabric than necessary. So the only quilting it has is actually holding the handle in place, which I'm quite happy with. And then the thing I absolutely adore about June Tailor products is how they think of everything to make this quick and easy. So this sewing kit comes with what June Tailor calls the Zippity-Doo Done, which is pre-made zipper tape wide enough to close around whatever you want to put in a zipper. So at no point do we have to sew super close to our zipper tab and worry about going all wonky. And that zipper tape is already attached into essentially what is double fold bias tape that's quite wide. So there's an excellent question on Facebook right now. What type and size of needle are you using, and does this material need a special needle? For the most part, the things that are in this project, between the insulated batting and the laminated fabric, a sharp needle like a Microtex is going to go through all those weird wonky layers. The best, if you were doing this project out of quilting cotton instead of the Splash Fabrics, a quilting needle would be appropriate. and then match the size of your needle to the thread that you're using. So I'm using isocord because I found colors in isocord that I like to match the project. So I'm using a 90-14 needle or an 80-12. Both are going to work pretty nicely, but with all the thickness and bulk, a little bit bigger needle will be a little bit friendlier. But if you want to know more about needles, we have a free needle event happening March 22nd. A free Zoom event. So you can find that on our website, sign up to get the Zoom, and then go from there. So Zippity-Doo Done, let's go back to that. Zippity-Doo Done is this lovely casing that we were just going to slide our project into and then sew that down, down in place. I'm going to open it up just a little bit there, lay my project in there, and mostly I'm going to center this right now. And then normally in things with laminated cotton, you don't want to pin a whole bunch of times. So I'm just going to use minimal pins because we learned on Friday that glue doesn't stick very well to the laminated cotton. So the double-sided sticky tape might. There's Dritz Wonder Tape that would probably hold it in place. But I'm just going to do a couple pins all the way through. Making sure the zipper tab is on the same side as my handle so that when I go to actually use this bag, my zipper is easy to open. And that has encased that top raw edge of my lunch bag. And then off to the machine we go, and we realize that the machine camera is not ready. It is in the wrong place. It might still be in the wrong place. Hang on. I must have. Oh, I need to move the machine. Got the machine way too far off the table. Let's just get that in frame now. There we go. So no giant heroics here. To get this in place, we are going to be stitching close to the edge here on the Zippity-Doo Done, and that's going to go through all the layers. You don't want to be like right at the edge there, but just a little bit. I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And I'm using a 1/4 inch foot. This is the Bernina 37B foot. So it has the dual feed, which is going to help pull this bulk through. But the inside edge of this front toe is 1/8 inch away from my needle. And my zipper on my Zippity-Doo Done is just a smidge longer than what I actually need, and I'm okay with that. But just like that, we are stitched all the way along the back, all the way along the front, with no pain and suffering. This is a great place if you wanted to get in there and add some decorative stitches, or maybe you want a rickrack or something super fun on top of that. Totally a great place for that. I don't feel like I need a whole bunch more holes through my project, because I'm quite sure I need the flexibility to have a very sloppy lunch in my project. And there's a lot going on here already in my mind for me. So I'm going to leave it without any more stitching. And then to get this all lined up, I'm going to worry more about this first end that I'm going to start sewing from and make sure it's level with the first side. The zipper is already installed. So making sure that when I line those up across that zipper tape, they're still flush. So the next side just the same. And one of the things I'm doing here to avoid there's quite a bit of a hump to get onto the project here. I'm going to start inward from the edge just a little bit and then back up. It'll be a little easier to get started and keep everything moving and going exactly where we want it. Just manage our bulk as we go. Watch out for handles. One of the things I really want to avoid at this point is having my zipper tab fall off my zipper tape and have to put my zippity-doo done back together. That would make me super sad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bar tack on this zipper myself, and I can do that by machine, but not with a straight stitch plate and not with a straight stitch foot. So I'm just going to switch those things over. Switch. I'm going to put the walking foot on because it'll do what I want it to do and be visible. So generally, a walking foot is designed to move bulk for us. I will be moving some bulk in a moment, so I'll stick with this for now. Just going to bring you guys up to the screen for a moment. Walking foot is number 50 on Bernina. And I am actually going to go into the buttonhole stitches and select my button sew on stitch, which might seem a little bit odd, but what I can do is I can make a bar tack using this stitch. The button sew on stitch on your machines is a bar tack. That's its job. And it's set up with a 0 mm stitch length, so it's going to stitch in place, but it will help us bar tack over the end of our zipper. And if you were actually using this stitch to sew on a button, you would check that you're wide enough and you're not going to hit the either edge of your button, and we'd actually check your foot. But what I'm going to do here is just do this stitch over my zipper tape. And make a new zipper stop for it. So, little thread zipper stop at that end. And from the default settings for this button sew on stitch, you might need to go just a smidge wider, but not a whole lot. I have mine about 4.5 millimeters wide. And new zipper stop installed. Which means when I open my zipper at this point, I can come right up to the end and not have my zipper fall off. It's brilliant. Done at both ends. Happy days. And that will keep that out of trouble for us. So this is looking sort of maybe like a bag. But we're going to sew the bottom pieces together all the way along the side. And this is way too gnarly for pins, so I'm going to use some Wonder Clips. We're going to be sewing this with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, as per the directions in the pattern, which is going to be much friendlier to work with than a skinny little seam allowance with all this bulk. And again, I'm not going to start right at the edge of my fabric and try and jump onto it. I am going to start about 1/2 inch in. Make sure things are moving in. I'm going to back up to the edge. And then get going with it again. Some days you have excitement like shredded thread. Sometimes that's a sign that you need a new needle. So usually, if I get shredded thread like this, I replace my needle. I'm not super diligent about doing that in the studio because I get sewing and then I get distracted. So I'm going to rethread for now and see if it'll keep going. If not, we'll change the needle. One shredded thread. Might just be how it caught. Something like a walking foot and all this bulk, you don't need to go 100 miles an hour through your seam allowance. And when we get to the bulk where the handles are sewn in place, another place to watch and take it easy. And then today we get an educational video and things that could go wrong. So this particular warning message on Bernina is a fabric thickness issue. So if the machine is having trouble walking up over the humps that you've got in there, it could be you'll need to get in there and flatten this a little bit more than it is already. There is a tiny little bit of webbing right at the end of my strapping, so I can feel that I've kind of hit the edge of that. And this warning message should be happier after we lower things back down. I'll start just past this point and see if I can get back over it. Yeah, it's going to be too thick. So things that will help later on is more solid pressing. We could get in there and hammer this flat. So let's move along here and see if we can at least get this part way along the edge here. Past the bulk. On some machines, if you get too much thickness in there, you'll actually open up your tension disc because the pressure foot will lift too high. So we'll use this as a basting line and give this a good solid whack with some steam and see if we can crunch it down a little bit. Shredded thread again. So we're going to take this over to the iron and do a little bit of assistance with some heat and some steam to get this to lay a little bit flatter so that it will sew a little bit better. Manual threading with the walking foot in place. Okay. Wait that iron back up. I wonder where our little clapper got. Don't see the clapper. So we will. The clapper ran away. So I'll let the iron wake up here. And it will get hot. Well, the iron wakes up. Let's see if there's other questions there. The fabric I'm using is called Splash Fabrics. It is fabulous. I'm so excited about it. It's cute too. I think it'll be an awesome lunch bag. So the only deal is if you too are making a lunch bag, You'll need to put your name on it if you're sharing our fridge when you come for a class. So, do I see the clapper somewhere else in the room? Not really. So I'm using a bit of a press cloth on here because I don't want to overdo it on my laminated fabric. Set the butt end of the iron on that to help hold it down for a moment because the clapper is out of reach. So put steam. If our in-store iron is set on low, this laminated cotton is happier if you don't iron it super hot. The cottons in there will be okay, super hot, but they're not the ones on the outside. So low, we don't want to melt the coating on there. Low with some steam and a clapper. I could have made the straps a little bit flatter before attaching them. So that's something I know for the next lunch bag I make. And making sure that the webbing is seated properly in the strap, because I think mine was just a little hair long, so it's sitting just a little past where it should have been. It should be back about here, and mine is going to about here. So I'm climbing through 2 layers of webbing as well as all the other fabrics. Back to the sewing machine. Those are a little bit flatter there. I've lengthened my stitch length just a little bit as well. I know I'm not thrilled about how thick my little project is. We are going to come back at this after a little hammering, I think. Do need the bottom seam of the bag sewn together before we can carry on. So. We will find a hammer and finish this. We're not quite sewn over the humps of the straps. Almost, but not quite. So, in the mix of this, I think I'm going to get a hammer this all flat, and we will make it another part to this video. But Sandy's on Facebook tomorrow and YouTube tomorrow. So I will get her in here tomorrow, and we'll finish this up on Thursday with a good little hammer to show you how to flatten that seam down. So we don't get error messages on our machines, and so that if you don't have a machine with the lift that this particular machine does, you'll still be able to get over those straps. And then next time, make my webbing just a little bit shorter. So that is where this bag is at. We'll readjust for this bottom seam and come back and join us Thursday for the finale of turning this right side out and having it actually be a little boxy bag. So that's what I know. Other thing. Oh, one of you could go get me a hammer. Do you have a hammer nearby? Apparently there's a hammer nearby. The right people just showed up. Well, we find the hammer. We have a little Calgary snow day thing happening this week. We have... Ooh, that should do the trick. So, we'll talk about other things. Sometimes a hammer is the solution to all your sewing problems. It is not for beating your machine, but lots of times if you've got lumpy, bumpy seams like this that are not behaving and giving you trouble, sometimes you can get them flatter with some encouragement. Sorry for how loud this is. Let's try sewing that again. Totally normal sewing implement. Oh, not quite. Not quite hammered enough. Made it further, though. That differently. We got most of the way across this time. We get over that other side. Give it a little more hammer. Approach both those seams from the other side. Both those straps. Right over. It's fabulous. Just about right over. Caught that one from both sides. I think we'll be okay. Okay. We're gonna keep going if you guys are good for it. It's a snow day. Let's keep sewing. So from here, that bottom seam will essentially get pressed open. Again, I have fabric that's not super keen to be pressed very hot, so I'm going to encourage it. A little bit of finger press here. It'll be okay. And then we're going to sew the ends of the bag shut. Again, with that 1/2 inch seam allowance. This is a place where if I want these things to line up, I'm actually going to sew this a little bit differently than this last bit. And I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out on both sides. Outward. To the side. It's okay to sew through the vinyl zipper teeth and zippity-doo done. Oh, you guys didn't see much of that sewing. Sorry. I'm going to encourage this flat with a hammer as well. Ooh, you could most definitely, great question on Facebook here. Is there any way to adjust the pattern so the handles go over and around the seam rather than inside the seam allowance? Totally. If you started the handles roughly that 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch inward from the edge, you wouldn't have to climb up over the handles at the bottom of the bag. And you might just want to put another box tack in there, and it would probably be just fine. Oh, hi, Sandy.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good. We're using different sewing tools today.
I like that hammer one. I think it could be used on spouses too.
No. No. Nope, that's not allowed.
That's not allowed.
But there is a fair bit of bulk in this project, so we
All
are,
right. Well, you beat
we
it
are
into
managing
submission.
the bulk.
All right, sounds beautiful. Just gonna check here.
Oh. Might do. Let's try out a couple other feet. Well, the walking foot is managing the bulk. There is one more Bernina foot that manages bulk even better, and that is the 12C, the bulky overlock foot. And it might be the way to go.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm going to take that seam back apart. We are going to carry on with this on Thursday. I'm going to take some time, do some very careful pressing, encourage my seams to be a little flatter, because they aren't quite as crispy as I would like them. So this is going back to my iron for some pressing with a clapper and a little bit more steam so that I can get those as flat as I need them to be friendly to work with. We will carry on Thursday with a sewing tote that will be closer to a sewing tote, our lunch bag shape. So pressing is going to be key. Also, making sure that you're following the directions when you put webbing in your strapping will make this much friendlier to sew all the way around. And we'll carry on from there. We do have a snow day promotion running on online and in store. If you're staying home because your car can't get out of your driveway, which very much might be the case if you're here in Calgary, you can use the coupon Snow Days and get free, maybe next day delivery, if you include flannel in your order. Snow Day / flannel will get you free shipping within Calgary city limits. We also have a Snow Day coupon that if you're in Calgary, it is $10 shipping with almost next day delivery. If you're outside of the city limits, that Snow Day coupon will be half price shipping on orders $150 or less, and over $150 on your order, you'll get free shipping. So you can stay home and the sewing supplies can come to you. Take care. We'll press out my problems. And we'll carry on finishing up this tote bag on Thursday. Thank you